Hi, and welcome to our lesson today about types of measurement. My name is Sharif Ismail, and I'm an English language fellow in Mongolia. Let's look at these pictures together. What do you see in the picture? That's correct. We see pictures for measurement of length. Which pencil is longer than the other, do you think? The blue or the red? That's correct. The blue one is longer than the red one. How do we know? Because we're using a measurement tape or a ruler, and we can see here that the blue pencil is 17 centimeters, while the red one is only 8 centimeters. What do we see in this picture right here to the right? That's correct. That's somebody who's weighing himself or herself. They're trying to find their weight. Can you tell how much do they weigh? No, we do not see what the scale says. And what do we see here? That's correct. We see containers of different fluid: tea, coffee, milkshake, milk, and water. Do they all have the same amount of liquid? Nope, they have different amounts. How do we measure how much liquid is in each container? We use some type of measurement, and here we're using ounce, cup, pint, quart, gallon. Are these measurements used all over the world to measure capacity? Huh, what do you think? Do all people all over the world use these measurement units to measure capacity? What do you think? No. We have two types of measurement units, and we're going to be looking at them in the next slide. But before we move on, let's talk about the different measurements here. We're talking about length, weight, and capacity. And let's look at this table. What do you see in this table? That's correct. We see two different types of measurement units. We have the metric unit system and the imperial unit system. And again, we're using these units to measure length, weight, and capacity. Which measurement unit do you think is the American one? That's correct. The imperial system, or the imperial unit system, or the imperial measurement unit system is the American measurement unit system. That means only America uses these units to measure things, while everyone else in the world they use the metric system or the metric unit system for measurement. Do you think knowing the difference between the two measurement unit system is important? Yes, it's very important. Why? Because let's say you're doing a project and you have numbers or measurements for length and weight and capacity. The numbers are going to be different. So we have to make sure that we're using the same measurement unit system for the whole project. Otherwise, things can be very confusing. And let me ask you, what are some measurement units that we use to measure weight in the imperial system? What are some measurement units that we use to measure weight in the imperial unit system? That's correct. Ounces, pounds, and stones. Another question. What are some measurement units that we use to measure capacity in the metric unit system? That's correct. Milliliters and liters. Let's look at the picture here. What do we see? What do you think this is? That's correct. This is a measurement tape. And what does it start with? It starts with 0 on both sides. Do both sides have the same measurement units? No. The top, what is the top measurement unit? That's correct. It's the imperial measurement unit. How do we know? Because it's in inches. That's correct. What about the bottom one? The bottom one is in centimeters, and that's metric system. Let me ask you another question. How many centimeters is an inch? How many centimeters is 1 inch? That's correct. It's almost 2.4. 1 inch is almost 2.4 centimeters. Why do you think this measurement tape has both types of units? Why do you think this measurement tape has two different types of units? That's correct, because some projects use the metric system while other projects they use the imperial system. So it comes really handy to have both measurement unit systems in one measurement tape. When do you think people use this measurement tape? When do you think people use this measurement tape? That's correct. We use this measurement tape when we do different projects. What type of project do you think we do with what types of project do we need to use a measurement tape for? That's correct. Maybe making a table, you have to take measurements of the wood and then cut it. For example, if you want to do electricity outlet on a wall, you have to take measurements of this outlet and then make sure that it matches the measurements on the wall. Also, installing tiles or ceramic floor or wood floor, we need to take measurements of the room in order for us to know how many tiles do we need to lay in that room. Here we see an example of a room. This is the length of the room and this is the width. Now, how do we calculate the area of this room? How do we know the area of this room? You will ask me, why do I need to know the area of that room? I'll tell you, we need to know the area of the room so we can install ceramic or tiles. In order for us to install ceramic or tiles or wood floor, we need to know the area of that room. And therefore, we'll be able to order the same amount of tiles that we need for our project. Here's a simple way to do that. If we have a room of this size, 14 feet width and a length of 12 feet, then how much is the area of that room? In order for us to do that, in order for us to calculate the area of the floor, we multiply the length by the width of the floor or the breadth of the floor. So 14 times 12, that equals 168 square foot. What type of measurement are we using here? Are we using the metric or the imperial system? That's correct. We're using the imperial system or the American measurement system. What do we see here in this picture? That's correct. This is a ceramic tile. So we need to lay the ceramic tile all over this floor. You see these squares? These squares represent each ceramic tile. But how many pieces of tile or how many pieces of ceramic tile do we need in order to finish this project? We don't know yet. And that's why we need to measure the ceramic tile and take measurement on both sides. So here we have 600 millimeter times 600 millimeters. So 600 times 600, which is approximately 60 centimeter. Now let me ask you, if we're talking about centimeter, then what are we using here? Imperial or metric system? That's correct. That's metric system. And it's a little bit confusing here because we've been using centimeters and foot. But anyways, now we need to calculate the area of this ceramic tile. So in order for us to calculate the area, we multiply the length of the tile times the breadth or the width. So 60 times 60, that's 3,600, which equals 3.6 square foot. In order for you to convert from centimeter to feet or foot, you can go online and find these converters. If you type in Google um, centimeter to foot converter, you will find it. So now we know that the area of this tile is 3.6 square foot. Step 3, let's see how many tiles do we need for that project. So in order for us to do that, we're gonna put in the area of the floor and divide it by the area of one tile. So the area of the whole floor is 168 square foot by 3.6 square foot for the tile equals 46.6, which is approximately 47 tiles, which are required for the above project. And there's a note here that says consider 5% wastages. That means you just get extra tiles just in case you're going to waste some of them, or just in case one of them breaks or something. So now we learned how to calculate the area of a floor and how to figure out how many tiles you need for flooring this area. Here's another example. How to calculate the numbers of tiles needed for a room 10 by 8. 10 by 8. And we have a tile of 0.30 meter and a length of 0.30 meter. Are we using here the imperial or the metric system? That's correct. That's the metric system. Take your time, talk to your partner or classmates, or take your time to think and calculate how many tiles do we need for this project. Here is another exercise for you. Convert this room measurement to metric system. So it's in the imperial system. I want you to convert it to metric system. What is the area in metric and imperial measurement? So I want you to calculate the area of this room in metric and in imperial measurement unit system. Another task that I have for you is measure the area of your classroom or your room that you're sitting in right now. Get a measurement tape and measure your room and tell me the measurement of your room in metric and imperial measurement unit system. How many tiles do you think you need in order to floor or change the flooring in your room? Let's say from one wood floor to ceramic floor. Do some research on that project, go online, find different sizes of different ceramic flooring or tiles or wood flooring, and tell me how much would it cost you to change the flooring of your room today. So what did we talk about today? We talked about length, weight, and capacity. And we talked about different measurement units that help us measure length, weight, and capacity. Metric units and imperial units. And we said that the imperial units are used in America. We also looked at a measurement tape that has both types of the units, metric and imperial. And we also looked at a project, flooring project, in two different measurement units. That's it for today. Thank you for watching my video, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next video.